Hello, welcome to another edition of Once Upon a Week. I'm back. There's been a bit of a break, but I'm back in action. That implies that I've been unable to vlog, which I have, but not because of any kind of injury, which back in action made it sound like. I've been doing some washing, as you can see by the washing behind me. No, I've been doing a play. I did a play. I wrote and directed a play and taken a break, from Once Upon a Week whilst the show was on. The play looked a little bit like this. But yeah, now I'm back. So Once Upon a Week, Once Upon a Time rather, is what we watched during Once Upon a Week. This is me vlogging about Once Upon a Week episode. What fucking hell? Vlog. It's been a while. Vlogging about Once Upon a Time every week. Watch it episode by episode. Really excited about this episode. Cannot remember for the life of me what happened in the last episode. I might have to watch the last Once Upon a Week before checking out this week's Once Upon a Time. So you know the drill. I'm going to go watch the ep. I'm going to give you ep. Jesus. Ep. I'm going to watch the episode because I'm British and we say episode, not ep. That wasn't a British accent. That was, I don't know what that was. Was that a posh voice? I think it was posh. So I'm gonna go watch the. I can't stop talking like this now. I've started. Yes, I'm gonna go watch the episode, and then I'm gonna come back with my thoughts on the episode. Hopefully there'll be a bit more structure and a bit more coherency to my thoughts. If not, maybe I just won't come back this week and I'll just try again next week. So yeah, if you're watching this, presumably what I've got to say is coherent. So check it out. So, as discussed, it's been a while since I saw the show last, so I went into the episode a bit confused, about where things were. But then luckily the episode started with a scene set in the fairy tale world where two fairies discuss wanting to be fairy godmothers on some clouds, and then some dust falls, and a dwarf is hatched. So that made things clearer. This episode was called Dreamy, and it was about Leroy in our world, basically falling for a nun and trying to impress her and sell some candles to raise some money. And in the fairy tale world, it was about how he was a dwarf called Dreamy, as fairy dust landed on him, and he nearly ran away with the fairy Nova. But he, in the end, couldn't, because that's sort of not the way things are supposed to go. From what they said, the dwarfs have to stay in the mine. She needs to be a fairy and get her wings and stuff. And that in turn made him grumpy. I don't have a whole lot to say on this episode. It's not like it wasn't enjoyable. It was, but it's the most fairy tale book it's ever been, I think. Not just because you had two colourful fairies sat on clouds and you had dwarfs and all that kind of stuff. In fairy tales, did dwarfs hatched? That was odd. Let's lay it out there. That's odd. I found that odd. I don't know if that comes from anything or if that's something Once Upon a Time has added. But odd. What I mean is they in the fairy tale world they fell in love in one scene. In the real world, Nova and Leroy had like a discussion that immediately went to a place of you can do anything you want. In the dialogue, in what happened, it was all very fairy tale. It was all a bit, some of the dialogue felt cheesier than it has been, and the show gets away with that because, I mean, for goodness sake, it's about fairy tales coming to life. So it's fine, but I found it more so than previous episodes, and because it went so far to that extreme, I don't know if I if I loved it, if I hated it. I don't really have an opinion on it. It was just like, yeah, you know, if that episode had been episode 2, I'd have been like, oh, this show is more fairy tale than I thought it was, and that would affect my opinion. And you know, it's not a bad thing. I'm sure some people loved it, and I'm sure some people watch the show for that reason. You know, they enjoy the interpretations and stuff, and I do. But yeah, this one, it didn't really grab me particularly. Although some things did. I felt really sorry for Dreamy when he became grumpy. All the acting again, Nova and Leroy, that was really nice. And it was nice to find out a bit more about Grumpy. And it was nice that his story sort of got some meat and stuff. So it definitely had some really good points. But on the whole, do you know what I mean? It's a real shame that. But on the whole, meh. Not. I don't know. I think it's just because it's like, oh yeah, once upon a time, let's get to the mysteries. Let's see what's going on with the characters, and then just starts with 2 fairy godmothers. Well, 1 fairy godmother in training on a cloud, and then a dwarf is hatched out of an egg, and I was just a bit like, what? And then with some of the cheesier dialogue and stuff happening, that feeling of sort of continued through the episode. But you know, I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to be back watching it, and I hope to see more of Nova and Grumpy's story, because it was of interest. And by the end of it, once you get past the dialogue and stuff, I was quite engaged. So yeah, there we go. Those are my thoughts. Obviously, you've missed me. I've missed you. I think 8 people watched the last video, so you 8 people, one's Dan, you 7 people, I'm back for you. Yeah, no, tell your friends on that. if you enjoy this, share it, tell your friends, tweet about it, you know, write in, all the details are on the website and stuff, if you follow the links, nothingbutstatic.co.uk, Twitter, nothing but static without the G, and check out the podcast, which is available from those things as well. So yeah, there you go. Those are my thoughts, and I hope you're having a good 2015 so far. And I will see you. My name is Chris. Didn't do the my name is Chris bit. Recovered it. I didn't pointed it out, which was a bit odd. I'm very conscious that Emma's just got home, and I feel like she's going to come in, but I think she's realised I'm filming a video, so she's not come in. Or maybe she has come in and I've just not seen her. Like, come into the room, I mean. She's come into the house. I can hear her moving about. And now it's weird, because at this point you'd expect her to be like, hi! And instead she's not said anything, which makes it feel like I don't want you to think she's not real. She's not going to help me out of this. So yeah, there we go. My name's Chris, and I will see you once upon a week.